first thing, what I'm going to do first thing is blame Atta for starting us late. She just took the ball and started running. So anyway,
Dang it, Atta.
welcome everybody. Welcome once again to Astronomy Daily Live. So hope everybody's doing well out there. I've still got the nice sunshine here, although there are some clouds tonight. This is the first night in maybe five or six nights in a row that it's been cloudy here. So we've had a really nice run of clear nights. Yesterday's pass of the Starlink constellation here was not visible. It was too bright. The sky was just too bright. I could barely see Spica, and Spica's a pretty bright star.
I can see that.
Yeah, so yeah, there was absolutely no way that I was going to see it. I stood out there anyway, just in case I saw some flaring or some kind of weird thing that would make them get really bright. Didn't see a thing. And probably that's because the sky was just still a little bit too bright. We were still technically in civil twilight at that point, so that's civil twilight, nautical twilight. So that's still pretty bright. So yeah, it was a no view on that. But before I get going too far, I should look at the chat. Okay, chat is doing well. So I should say howdy to Bobby.
Hello.
Here.
What's happening over there?
And here is the lovely, sexy, talented favorite Trekkie, Atalanta.
But
Paige is the super trekker.
She's been snipped though. See, she's still snipped. So, Atta, you had your scope out last night.
Yeah, I had the big one out last night, and I have an accessory for it. I like all these gadgets. I buy everything they sell. Most of it I haven't even used. But this part I really liked. I don't like setting the time and location for where I am. It's just a pain in the neck. And I have to do that because my system is shut off, and taken apart when I leave my location. So I got this device. It's picks up what is it called? A geo whatever it picks up time and location from a satellite.
Yep.
Keeps your time and it's great. You just plug it in, and on the hand controller you go to time and location and you select that as how it's going to be input, and it's there and it's perfectly correct. I loved it.
Yeah.
And it was clear enough last night. I had no trouble with alignment. Alignment was really good, and I did it. Actually, I was cheating a little bit. I had my variable lens on, goes from 24 millimeters to 8, and 24 is the lowest magnification I've got on that. And I actually usually do alignment even at an even lower magnification. It's easier to find stuff. I just find that easy. It worked great. Everything boom right in the center of the lens. It was perfect. It was so terrific. I could find everything. And one of the things that never ceases to amaze me when I look through a telescope is, my area isn't clear like yours. My eyesight may not be the greatest in the world, but most people can't see a lot in my area with their naked eye, other than the brightest objects in the sky. But like with my naked eye, I'm looking at Jupiter. Well, I see Jupiter, but I don't see anything around it, you know. But through the scope, I see everything that's going on. I mean, it was great. You know, I see all this additional information that I don't otherwise see. So sometimes it's kind of nice, not for Jupiter, but for some things, it's kind of nice, for me at least, to have a go-to function, because it gets me in the neighborhood of what I want to see. And I would have trouble finding it with my naked eye, even through a finder device, because of the seems like the conditions of my sky are not that great.
Right. No, you know, I'm going to dig in my heels a little bit here, and strongly suggest that you take the harder route.
You would do that, you know. That's what you're right. I know that you're right. I do. I know that. I'm still not listening, but I know that. I know that you're
It's really really hard, because it is so cool that these things can point right to where you want to go. No effort whatsoever.
Yeah.
Right?
if you're
By the
properly
welcome,
aligned at that.
by the welcome page master in the chat.
Hey,
And
Page Master.
thank goodness it's not a nightmare where we're around your area and stuff with all those tornadoes and stuff.
Nah, I don't
Yeah.
have that. We don't get too much of that. I think they had a tornado here umpteen years ago. I hope we never get one, because where I live, one of the reasons this luxury old age home that I live in is relatively cheap for what I get, to tell you the truth. One of the reasons the land was cheap, not only is it not good for farming, but it has these huge power lines going straight through it. I mean,
Oh wow.
I'm telling you, huge. You have not. I didn't notice this at first, you know, not being the type that looked up. But after I took up astronomy, I do more looking up. Oh my God! It's like we have a whole string of Eiffel Towers, you know, going straight through where I live. You can hear it. You know, you can the humming in the wire. You know, like Glenn Campbell, like country singer, talked about the Wichita alignment. You can hear that stuff.
Yep.
It's scary. Can you imagine the electromagnetic field surrounding these things, and what would happen if one of them came down? Oh,
They're very very strong fields. And yeah, well, be careful around those things.
I said to one of my old buddies who live here, I said, it's a good thing none of us are planning to have any children.
Yeah.
And Page Master, thank you for directing me to the right information, because Andy Callie directed me to the wrong one yesterday.
Okay, good.
Oh,
I'm glad that was all cleared up. All right, so you looked at Jupiter. You looked at, what else did you look at?
Oh, of course, Jupiter and Saturn and all of the major stars that were out. But I think I got M5. I wasn't really going for anything but stars. And of course, Ceres. I got Ceres.
Yeah. How about that?
That little planet? Oh, yeah.
Right, now, how do you know that what you were looking at was Ceres?
I'm about 90% sure, because of where it was in the sky. I looked at my star maps, and it had to be. It just had to be.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't do a go-to, you know. Though I must say, I did check it out. I found it on my own. It's, it's one of those times I didn't use a go-to. I
Wow.
was using the star map. Found it on my own, but I checked it out with the go-to. I looked at something else, and then I did a go-to series just to see if I
Right.
would get in the same place. And I
Yeah.
did.
You
So
did.
I did. So I'm pretty sure that was it. I was thrilled with that, Woo!
Yeah. Yeah. That's I think I mean it this sort of depends on a number of things, but I would think that over the course of an hour or two, um, if you would have come back to it, you probably would have noticed that you know that it had moved.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
um,
I might have.
yeah, and that would have definitely confirmed it for sure. But yeah, I think from what you say that yeah, I mean
I can never be 100% sure at my stage of the game, but I was about as sure as I'm going to get
yeah,
about
yeah. Was it
anything.
was it pretty bright? Um, was it like the brightest thing in the field of view? Um,
Uh, well, in my field of view, you mean through my
yeah,
eyepiece?
yeah.
Well, not really. It wasn't the brightest by a lot. I mean, don't get the idea it just came booming out like, like a bright star. It didn't. Wasn't that bright.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Interesting. So,
But it was distinguishable. The things around it were duller,
mhm.
but
Oh
it
wow.
wasn't. It didn't come out like like a bright star would.
Right.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is that it didn't look like a star.
No, it did not.
Oh wow.
No, it
Wow.
definitely didn't look like a star for sure.
Wow. That's kind of interesting.
It was a it was a good sighting, I thought.
Yeah. I mean that's a relatively large object. I forget exactly how big it is, but it's pretty darn big. Um, and so I mean it is going to be relatively bright, but yeah, I don't know how bright exactly it is. Um, I mean, it'd be easy enough to find out, but yeah, well, interesting. And you said maybe you saw Messier 5.
M5. Yeah, I think so. I think so. I wasn't really shooting for anything but stars, and of course I always look at the planets. I mean, they're fun, they're fun and they're easy, so I always look at those. But I wasn't really shooting for anything other than the stars and the planets last night. I ran out kind of late, number one, and I've got to get out and set up. I don't just go into the backyard and turn it on.
Right.
I just build the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I was out there till my battery gave out. Literally, I came in early in the morning.
Well, yeah, you posted something on Discord. At least my time, it was like 12:15 a.m.
Oh, I was out later than that. My time, I was out till 2:15
Right.
a.m.
At least,
Right.
at least the pumpkin gods were in your favorite of your stargazing.
Yep. Very
Yeah.
good. Very good.
They were. But it was nice to be able to have, again, when I say we have a clear night in my area, clear is always a relative term here. It's never as clear as it is where you live, but it's clear enough to observe and to get an alignment, and that's clear enough for me. Now, if I drive 10 miles away from where I live, which I didn't do last night, if I drive 10 miles away from where I live, I'm in the pitch black dark.
Nice.
I mean, it's very dark, and it's not that far to drive.
And that's approximately where this observatory is.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's where I go. I'll just go and I mean, I shouldn't do it, and drive at night. But nobody else is on the road at that time of night. Who am I going to hit?
Just be really careful, right?
Well, I am really careful. And this is the country.
If
all the farmers are in bed, and the ones that aren't are in
right. You just have to be
buggies.
The slightest bit responsible. That's it, right?
But I like to go out there because it's super dark out there, and there are some flat places to set up the scope that are really nice. Concrete slab type things up on top of a crest of a hill, and nothing's in your way. It's just great.
Nice. Hey, so I was, I'm going through some old pictures, and I don't know if I've ever shown this on this live stream or not. I think I probably have, but yeah, I saw.
We're gonna have to look at baby pictures. I mean,
yeah, you're gonna have to. You're gonna have to. But so I started looking at this one, and I was like, "Oh man, I remember all that." So here, I'll show you. We'll get a little nostalgic here for a little while. I don't know if I've ever shown this or not. So
yeah, you did
me.
A baby picture there.
Yeah.
Little cosmic.
Yeah, and this is the 61-inch telescope up on Mount Bigelow, just north of Tucson. And here I am on this platform. This platform here, this whole thing goes up and down by quite a bit, maybe like 10 feet or so. Maybe not quite that much, maybe 8 feet or something. And as you can see, I'm not quite sure. I think this is a Ritchie Cretin telescope. I think. But it's on a kind of a mount. It's kind of hard to see, but the whole white part here tilts up and down. That's your declination, and then this orange part with this big round thing in here. See that? That rotates sort of left to right, and that gives us our right ascension. But as you can see, this angle here is pointing north, right? So this is pointed at the North Star. But as you can see, the mount gets in the way of the telescope. So I think this telescope could point up to about, I want to say like a declination of like 65 degrees or so. But yeah, so of course the primary is down here, and then there's a secondary that you can't see. It's way up here, and then that gets reflected down to here, where you put your instrumentation on. And I don't have anything on there at the moment, but I would use a photometer, which is just a exactly what the name implies. It counts photons. So yeah, that was a fun project. This is the control panel, I guess you can call it. Got a computer here. WWV is one of these. I'm not quite sure which one. But there's a piece of software called a TCS. It's the Telescope Control System, and it's extremely similar to the go-to telescopes now, in that the telescope knows where it's pointing, um, and because it's been aligned. And I think this thing was aligned at least every year or so. They went through a new alignment thing where instead of using, like 2 stars or 3 stars, they would use, 80 or 100 or 200 stars to get a really, 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 really good model of the sky. Because the pointing has to be really, really good, and the tracking has to be excellent, right? So, so this thing has to work really, really well. But yeah, so I would both collect my data here on the on our right, and run the telescope and everything too. So with the photometer came a little K-Pro computer. Do you remember those?
Yeah.
And it was running a operating system called CPM, which was extremely close to DOS, but it wasn't exactly DOS. And on that computer ran the software that controlled the photometer. So,
what kind of computer was running the CPM software?
Well, in this case, it was a K-Pro. It's like a suitcase computer. It was supposedly portable, but it weighed about, I don't know, 1,000 pounds. It was really heavy. It was.
Well,
Bobby could carry it. Bobby and one of his buddies could easily toss that thing around.
Yes. Anyway, here's the gear, or the motors that ran the declination. So this is like a big gear. You can't see it here, but it's got teeth. And then this is, I think it's just a worm gear here, with some motors that turn, and when they turn the worm, that turns this big huge circle thing here, and that moves the whole telescope up and down. And there's a similar thing way down here on the bottom, down to the right, for the right ascension. Same kind of thing. So yeah, so that's a 61-inch telescope, and we were trying to do really, really, really accurate photometry, and so the conditions that the sky had, they had to be really, really, really great. I couldn't have any high thin clouds, or the seeing had to be at least relatively decent. So there were nights when there was a little bit of overcast, or the seeing was bad, that I would put an eyepiece on this thing and I would look at stuff. Yeah, it was like walking on the moon. It was really amazing. Really, really amazing. That's how I saw, with my own eyeballs, supernova. I think it was 1991 T. We'd heard about it, and we were going to be up there, so we took a look, and yeah, it was cool. So photons from a supernova hit these eyeballs. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. So yeah, that was just a lot of fun, and like I said, I was just going through some old baby photos here, and found that I was this was probably either 1991 or 1992, so I would have been like 23 or 24. So
Just
less than less
I
than
could
half.
be either in preschool or kindergarten at the time.
Yeah. Well, I well, I was less than half of my current age.
I was already middle-aged.
Uh,
I saw a lot of talk on the servers today. I hit them before I came on here. A lot of people are talking about this satellites and how they're going to screw up ground-based
yeah,
astronomy.
I mean, I'm I'm glad that it has dawned on the astronomical community that this is going to be a problem. Um, but number one, it's almost too late. Almost too late. But the other thing that isn't being talked about, and nobody seems to note this, is that a you know yes, there's a problem with a lit up satellite, right? That's a problem, right? But you've got pretty much exactly the same problem with a satellite in shadow, because it's going to be passing in front of your targets anyway and leaving a black streak.
Yeah.
Instead of a white streak, you're going to get a black streak, and that is just as bad. Nobody's talking about that though,
No.
and somebody needs to. I am, but nobody listens to me. So But cheers! I've got the HOH here again, so a nice calming concoction of hydrogens and oxygen. It's got a uh, it's got an atomic weight, I think of 18. I think that's right, because I think oxygen is eight each. No, 8 neutrons, 8 protons. So that's about 16, and then 2 hydrogens is
32.
2 protons. So I think that's no. So I think that's 18.
18.
So yeah, cheers. All right, well, great. So yeah, just I was looking at that picture earlier, and it's like, yeah, I remember all that. That was great fun. Um, it was really really neat because you know uh, it was always cold, always cold, even in the summertime. At those altitudes in the desert, it gets really really cold. So I mean,
So,
yeah, I mean, it would easily be in the 30s, right?
Yeah.
At the warmest, at the
For sure.
warmest. Um,
yeah.
but it
I'm
was
just,
I
I'm
think
just
out
gonna
there it's
like
like,
let you. Yeah, I was gonna like let you know that Thursdays at UTC time they'll be like expecting me. I'm gonna be trying to capture that show, that shortwave show that's got that digital mode and stuff. I like to try to kill. I love QSLing shows with digital modes. You know what I mean?
cool.
oh yeah.
I like it. I like it. Anyway, so just a little bit of nostalgia there, and uh, you see me there standing next to a 61-inch telescope. Okay, okay. That is, I think, the smallest telescope professionally I've worked with. Most of the other ones are bigger, like that, right? Um, so see, at a very very early age, I was exposed to large telescopes and large instrumentation, big huge things, And so I never got the fever. I never got the, you know, this
Aperture fever. Yeah.
aperture fever. I never got it because I was inoculated with these huge monsters.
Yeah, I reckon you were.
So I just never needed anything
The
big
fever.
at all because it's like, hey, you know, I've been playing with some great big toys. It's awesome. So yeah.
One of the lectures I have on it's good for beginning astronomers because they talk about basic equipment and even, you know, binoculars. One thing I didn't do, I kind of skipped that step, and I wish I hadn't, was the step of starting out with a good pair of binoculars and just go out and get to know your sky before you get into more advanced equipment. I skipped that step. I do that with a lot of things. You know, this is not just astronomy. I don't have a lot of time, you know, so I'm trying to do some jumping ahead. But this, they use the phrase aperture fever. The first time I ever heard it was, Uncle Bill was making a joke. It was even before I bought my telescope. I was thinking about what to get. And I'd been thinking about getting into it and I wasn't sure. And I don't know, I was talking about size. And he was saying he could tell I had the fever. And I thought, what the hell is he talking about? I mean, the fever. I don't have a fever. I heard that the phrase for the first time in this course, where the guy was really advising beginners not to go. He said the best telescope for you is one you will use.
Yes.
He said, he said you start getting up into the 10-inch, 11-inch, even that range. He said that takes a couple of people to set up. Those things are big units, you know, because you see them, they're for sale everywhere. And he said people tend to get into those because they get aperture fever. That's when I first heard that phrase. I could just imagine somebody buying bigger and bigger and bigger.
They do, and most of the amateurs I know have that affliction. They absolutely do because they have not gotten that satisfaction that I completely understand. Right?
That's what Page says. He says, I got the fever and the only cure is more aperture.
Yes. Yes. But look, I was cured of that, or I got the inoculation
you never got it.
or something because you know, I mean, right coming into college, my first year of college, I was climbing around in the MMT, right, in the structure of the MMT itself. This humongous 6 mirror system. It was absolutely huge. So, you know, so I look at this thing and I have to laugh. It's like, what is this? But it's great, you know. So yeah, I'm totally satisfied with that. And I do not have any of the fever whatsoever, and I never have because I was shot early. I was just lucky.
An 8-inch is a good compromise for an astronomer. When they sold me that, admittedly, you know, to start out, it gave me a rougher start than most beginners because I started out with more advanced equipment than most beginners would have. But the salesperson did give me good advice. I asked him for a setup that I wouldn't grow out of in a year and that would be pretty much universal to most of what I would be able to see in the night sky, in my night sky. And he said that the 8-inch is the best compromise in portability, setup ability, and what you can view with it. And he would have tended to agree with you. It's for the amateur astronomer at this level, it's not so much the bowling ball, it's the bowler. He said, you'll probably not, use your even the 8-inch that you have to the extent it can be used. And he's right. I haven't yet used it to anywhere near its capabilities.
Yeah.
Not
Wow.
anywhere near it.
Yeah.
Yet.
Pretty amazing.
And so I'm happy enough. I can't. I don't know if I ever will, because when it comes to the kind of scope you'll use most often, on occasion, I'll tell you, I've grabbed my 19-pound scope, which is my Sky Prodigy 130 millimeters, and run with it because I can, and I can run to a spot quickly. It's all in one piece. You don't have to set it up and boom, you're viewing in a heartbeat,
Oh, wow. Yeah, nice.
Maybe not with the sophistication of my larger scope, but right now I haven't looked at anything with my larger scope that I can't see with the tiny one, or at least tiny by my current standards. The Sky Prodigy. So right now, I'm not using the larger scope to any extent. I may never. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I think
I got to warn you, Cosmic. I'm good for about 3 years on any hobby I pick up. Now, I will go back to hobbies I've had before. I've done everything. I've painted portraits. I've you name it, I can sew it. I mean, I can do horseback riding. I can hunt on a horse. I can do all. I've had these various hobbies in my life, and I go like a house on fire. I'd go 120% for 3 years. But there's something magic about the third year. When I stop, it's just it's complete.
interesting. All right, so
I mean, being on a horse is good until you started until the guy started going faster, and then you just out of the blue just start falling down, and pretty much almost gotta go to a hospital.
Ooh. Oh, fall on a horse can be a bad one. I've had several. I know.
Yeah.
So my horse is a 3-year-old, not gelded male. So it's very difficult to handle. I had no business owning a horse like that. But, I always go right in when I'm going to try.
Yeah. That's just like me. I never tried to ride on the bike until I was about somewhere around when I just started going to high school. And so my first bike, it didn't have any brakes, so I couldn't even tell it to stop and stuff. And that is usually not a good bike if it doesn't have the brakes.
That's usually not a good bike. That's right. That is not a good bike. No.
Yeah, but but when I first started to really ride a bike and learn how to balance it, learn how to turn and stuff like that, I just felt wonderful.
Well, yeah, it is. It's very.
And ever since, I just love to go bike riding. Or sometimes I wouldn't mind riding my bike all the way to my neighborhooding cities.
Whew. Yeah, that's quite a ride. I mean, I've done some serious biking in my time. I have a serious bike, a Trek, and it's real, super light. Nice bike.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I still do biking. Just for fun.
Now here's where the biggest fear comes in: is trying to ride a bike on a major highway.
Oh, forget that. That scares me, and I'm fearless.
Ever since they did those J turns,
yeah.
Man, oh man. I mean, one hit with a fast moving vehicle, and you better have life insurance because it's really gonna add you up.
Yeah, well, I don't know if life insurance is going to help you. Life
Yeah.
insurance will just bury you if you don't have any other money. That's what it'll do.
That's about it.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah, man.
But I'm
I
good
mean,
for hobbies for about 3 years, and
All right. Well,
I love
okay. Right.
astronomy. But
So wait. I think what I'm hearing, if I'm hearing right, is that you are guaranteeing that you're going to be around for at least 2 more years.
yeah, well,
Is that what I'm
that's
hearing?
a strong possibility unless my enemies find me. Unless they, it's dawned on me that when I'm on this panel, you can see me, and someone can go on the web and find me on here.
oh my gosh, the dark web is coming.
Uh-oh, this is
Uh-oh.
bad.
Yeah,
But
look out.
I'm good. About 3 years, 2 more years. Natty
yeah.
quickly get shipped.
Okay. Well, go with it.
I
Go
get.
with it.
I
See
will
what
get.
happens. You never
Sometimes I
know.
return to hobbies that I've left behind, like the sewing thing. I use that now in the theater to do costumes. The skills I learned there,
Yeah.
what I would use the astronomy skills for. I go back to astronomy.
Yeah.
But that's how I am with hobbies. I'm just kind of, I go up and down on them. It's
Interesting. Yeah. Cool.
So when you do your theater stuff, Atta, is it more being is it more acting or may I have to
now,
do something for
everybody
the
in
crew?
our troop does everything. Everyone in our troop has acted at one time or another. But we all work on
Okay.
set. We all work on wardrobe. We all do everything because it's a small group. And they're not all as old as I am.
Okay.
I'm grandma in the troop. I'm definitely grandma.
So does each actor work on like their own wardrobe? Is that how that works, or
We'll have somebody in charge, depending on what we're putting on. We'll have somebody in charge of costumes for a production. That'll be their job. They won't have a part to play. They'll be on costumes. Other times they'll be on sets. I mean, I've done sets
Yeah.
and
So eventually you're gonna have to have someone that's gonna work on like changing the backdrops, doing the curtain and stuff, right?
yeah. One of these times I'm going to come on the live stream. In fact, if I'm still around at Christmas time this year and you have a live stream,
huh?
I'm going to come on here as Mrs. Santa
All right.
on the live stream.
We will.
Yeah.
I will make sure to advertise that
And in fact,
for weeks in advance.
oh yeah, this is the Mrs. Santa character is wonderful. Everybody loves her. That's how I got involved with my local observatory.
Right.
Actually, it was through this Mrs. Santa character. We were doing a thing with Mrs. Santa of, Santa couldn't be here. Mrs. Santa's here because we're going to be tracking Santa, as he goes across the sky. And I had my little talk. I said, yeah, he hates this. He doesn't like it when people are watching him, but I like it because when people know that when he knows people are watching him, he doesn't drive as recklessly. Normally, he's quite reckless.
That's great.
Everybody liked that. But that's how I actually got involved with my local observatory. That was a very popular thing. And I suggested to them because they have had to start earning money. I mean, they got corporate money to get started a couple of years ago. I didn't realize how new my local observatory was. I'm actually 1 year older than it is for this area. I moved to this area 3 years ago. It got developed in this area a little over 2 years ago.
Wow.
So in your theater troupe, are you more into acting than working on on the backdrops and stuff?
No, I do a little bit of everything, to tell you the truth. Now,
Oh,
my
okay.
Zaza routine is very popular. I do a sort of one-woman Zaza Gabor show where I talk about, you know, my life and people's criticisms of me and why I
Yeah.
think they're phony and how I,
And imagine, like, if I was off to move to where you're at, so I think you can pretty much, like, if you need my help, let me know.
I certainly would, Bobby.
There you go.
But I like to do, actually, my favorite kinds of characters I like to do are historical characters. Mrs. Santa is actually the first fantasy character I ever did. After I did her, I did some
Wait,
others.
wait, wait. What are you saying? Fantasy?
Fantasy.
What are you saying?
Oh, God.
Oh my
The
gosh.
character that is, I hate to tell you this, cause, but
Wait. Really?
she's not real.
Holy
Oh.
cow. Oh.
Are you sure about that?
Oh. I think you just made Deep Sky do
I put Atta
really
on the floor.
bad.
I put her on the floor with that one.
You certainly did. I just fell right into that.
Yeah, you certainly did. Well,
Yeah.
I've got to be more careful, I guess. I can't be
Yeah,
throwing people out of
I
their
think,
chairs.
yeah.
I'm a Santa fairy too, I do.
Cool.
Now I'm more the fairy godmother type fairy, not the little Tinkerbell fairy. I'm a supervising fairy. I do the Santa fairy as well. But I prefer historical characters. They're very rich, and one of my favorites actually was John Philip Sousa's wife, Jenny.
Oh,
Nobody knows anything about her.
I don't know anything about her whatsoever.
Nobody does. But she's a very interesting woman. And through her, the Sousas lived from, you know, if I look at their lifespan, the two of them, they lived from the end of the Civil War till the beginning of World War II. They saw a lot of American history.
Yeah,
So this is a very rich character to teach American history to, and you do it through the character. You talk about your experiences and your observations and where you were and what was going on. And in the process, you teach history. Even children who normally wouldn't like that kind of thing do. And I'm sure that's one of the reasons that the space fantasy at the observatory, we one thing that's very popular that we do is a Star Trek kind of thing. I have my very own, I'll have to wear it one of these nights, my very own Commodore Stouffer uniform.
Wow.
And I look, you know, I had a little gray at the temples here. It works very well.
Right.
An older person of more authority. And the space fantasies are very nice to bring out people to the observatory who otherwise might not come.
Wow.
And they bring in a lot of people.
Now, keep going, Otto.
Now, I would just say that's one of the things we do. It's a fantasy that works extremely well. What am I saying? Santa, look at it. Look at the chat. I've been missing all this great chat.
Yeah.
It is real.
Yeah. So, Otto, do you sometimes have to dress as a Klingon?
I have never dressed as a Klingon, but I really like the Klingon look, you know. Those women are really kick butt looking, you know. I like them.
Yeah,
I think if you're looking for someone that is really gonna introduce you to this, whatever you want to do, I think someone that is more Klingon-y like would be better off.
Yeah, no, I think I'm definitely with Deep Sky Dude. I'm gonna need some more evidence too because
Oh God! Yeah, I would have never brought it up. I knew I would regret bringing that up.
yeah, yeah, I
Oh
just
my gosh.
As
I'm
Mr.
gonna
Claus.
Oh my gosh. If only we have Ron from Burt Radio here.
Hey, evidence. Oh, God.
evidence,
Yeah,
evidence.
well, at least it opened up a whole new way for our observatory to get people to come and to now the observatory is largely free. I mean, we don't charge admission or anything like that, but we will accept donations, and we've gotten a lot of them.
And speaking of
Good.
donations, Cosmic, I've been looking at the description and it says that you're also looking for donations too, right?
Oh, if anybody ever wants to make a donation, I am definitely not saying no. So yeah.
Yeah, when would you be stupid? I mean, that's
Well, no, I think it's really important to, I mean, if somebody wants to give, uh, in that really nice way, then the only thing I can do is receive in a really nice way.
you wouldn't want to
So
offend them.
Yeah,
absolutely no way.
so in the description it says if you want to make a contribution, the funds will go to support this channel and or my research, and it's paypal.me/cosmic lettuce, right?
Yep, that's right.
Where is this? I've never seen that. Where is that?
It's in the description on the YouTube page.
Oh, I'm not
Down,
on. I'm in the hangout area. I need to go to the YouTube area.
down in the
Yeah.
description. Down in the description.
Okay, I'm looking.
Oh yeah, that's always been there.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
that's yeah, it's just part of the description. So yeah.
But you have to.
That's
Yeah, you need to mute that, Alta.
it's just part of the description. So
Yeah,
mute.
but you have to hit the show more button, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to mute that, Alta.
And you need to mute YouTube.
I did.
Okay.
I just fixed it.
Yay.
I just went over there to see where that was because I never saw that, and I never hit the show more button.
Oh,
See,
okay.
if you don't hit the show more, you don't see it.
Yeah, I guess I don't advertise that probably as much as I should. So, all right. Well, thanks, Bobby.
Thank
Thanks
you,
for
Bobby.
pointing that out. I'm doing this to have a lot of fun and to share a passion and just get together with friends. And really, I mean, what I've got here is working relatively well. So I'm just going with it. I don't really need to make any major improvements. I'm definitely going to be getting a mixer board, so I can put some sound into this feed. I think that'll add a nice ambiance to this whole thing.
We're gonna have a little heart to space.
Something like that. Who knows? Who knows? So yeah, I mean that is really the only upgrade I'm interested in doing, and that's already funded. So I'm good, but no, I am definitely not going to refuse any kind of donations whatsoever. No way.
Yeah, because content, there's nothing wrong with asking for that as a content provider. There's a couple of them I contribute to content, what I call content providers that I actually use. I mean, obviously, you can't contribute to everybody, but to providers that I actually use. And I don't know if I'm thrilled with that Patreon site.
Mm-hmm.
I can see why people really got confused on that site. Gilles had that problem. People would come in and they would donate. They thought they were donating like $5 a month or something.
Right.
And geez, they ended up getting charged $5 a view because Gilles is on a per view. They forgot to put in maximum per month is X dollars. If you want a once a month charge like I do, I put in, I'm going to donate X and I'm going to do that once each month. So that gives me a once a month. But people got all screwed up with that. And Tony Darnell's Tony's is pretty clear. He goes into tears. And what a mess.
Yeah, it's
oh no! Oh, DSD! I can't even believe this. Look at this.
Oh no! Am I?
They plan it. I love it.
Yeah,
Is Fraser Cain still active?
Who's still active?
Cain?
Yeah.
Fraser. Oh yeah.
Oh, I mean,
yeah. He's not doing, as far as I know, he hasn't been doing any of those star parties though. So don't know. I don't know what happened with that. I don't know if his relationship with the telescope folks went south, or if they just got bored with it, because it was very popular. So yeah, I don't know exactly what happened there.
No, either.
So, but yeah.
Wasn't he getting supplies from OPT?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Speaking of OPT, I have a comment to make about their big filter, the light pollution filter, which I pulled out last night. I had it in, figuring this would enhance my viewing. Well, since it was a fairly clear night, and after all, I'm viewing the sky, not the parking lot where I set up my scope, and the parking lot's pretty light, but it's not. The light isn't directed up. Fortunately, we have lights that shine the light where it's needed, and that's on the ground.
Right.
I used their light pollution filter, and it rather badly changes the color of what you're viewing. It might be great I haven't tried it with deep space objects yet. And maybe that would be, it would be advantageous for deep space objects.
I'm wondering what light pollution filter is filtering out. If it's filtering out like sodium, maybe those lights weren't sodium lights.
I don't know. I'll have to try. I'll have to get the box. It's currently put away because I took the filter out because I didn't like seeing a blue Jupiter, so I took the filter off. Mm-hmm. I just put on my normal light pollution reduction filter that doesn't change the color of things. But they touted this filter.
What was it called?
Radion or Radi something. I can get the box. I'll get the box for next time because I have to move that fur coat closet in order to get to the box. It's supposed to be. They demonstrated it in Times Square. The idea is if you can set up a scope and see the sky on Times Square, you can do it anywhere because you know how lit up that area is.
Yeah.
And they demonstrated it on Times Square, and it worked. I saw it, on a video, sort of.
They tried it again just a couple of months ago, and they could definitely see stars, but they never found anything else. They were very disorganized, actually.
Yeah, I thought so too. I
Um,
saw the YouTube presentation, and it seemed like the Keystone Cops. I mean, it was not very
yeah,
well orchestrated.
I would have thought that would have been a little bit better planned. I'm looking for filters, but yeah, if you can get the
I
name of
didn't get
that,
it.
um, next time though, next time is fine.
Yeah, maybe I'll
Um,
do that next time.
yeah,
Because,
and then we can
but
look it
it
up
makes
here.
it look blue.
Well, that just means, I mean, if you're seeing blue, that
Yeah,
means that the blue light is passing through,
yeah,
right? It's
nothing
not
else.
being filtered. Yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, well, you might try looking at a fairly red star like Arcturus,
Yeah.
or Capella. Um, both of those are up now.
Oh no,
Um,
I can't
Antares.
see them now. It's cloudy now in my
Wow.
area.
Okay. Yeah. They're still there. Probably.
But they're there. I believe.
Probably. Probably.
I believe you.
Probably. All right. Well, hey, I think I'm looking at the time, and we're coming up a little bit past the hour. So, I guess it's probably time to get on out of here
Oh,
for now.
yeah.
I wanted to. The only thing that I think I definitely want to stick with the constellation Aries. We're still in there. Um, there's this other thing that I want to look at a little bit more. They're called Dipper stars. Dipper stars. And there was just a paper written about those over at the research notes of the AAS. And they're talking about these Dipper stars, and it's like, well, what's a Dipper star? So I want to get into that too a little bit, maybe next time, as well. So, all right, well, we're thinking of the future already, and that's probably not a good idea. Let's just be right here, right now. How about that? All right, I think we can do that. Okay, well, as I said, I think I'm going to get out of here for now. So peace, cheers, and all that. Have a great evening, a great day. More astronomy tomorrow. Telescopes, optics, um, Dipper stars, rockets, satellites, all the good
Mm-hmm.
stuff. All the good stuff. All right, everybody. I'm going to get out of here for now. Take care. Peace, cheers, live long and prosper. And I will see
Mm-hmm.
you in just one of these little spins. Just one. Like that. All right. See you later. Bye.